Hi, I'm Uncle Mark. Welcome to the channel. Just working on my buddy's 2001 Dodge Ram pickup. Little hole, I guess, in his power steering hose was really hard to see. Actually, it was squirting all over the place. But not when we had the hood open and it running, trying to get it to recreate the problem. Just cleaned up the hose and then drove it a little bit and then saw where it was coming out. Actually, a pinhole right here. So I'm going to try and show step by step how it was replaced, the couple tools a person needs, and a buddy will be a great idea to have too, just because it kind of took two people. I was looking at the new hose here. This is both ends of it. It's quite the twisted kind of thing. Just wanted to make sure it was the right one. You'd hate to order it and have the wrong one, take it all apart. And then, so this is the high pressure one. Kind of loops over. It kind of loops around. I'll show you on a different angle, and then goes into the power steering pump. So you'll see it's the one that kind of loops up and around. Now we figured we'd just test fit what tools we'll need to put the new one in. It was different size from the factory one. At least one of the ends was. But that's okay. At least we knew what we were up against. So just made sure all the parts were in there. It should come with a couple little washers. O-rings, I guess, is what they are.
Okay, so that'll be there. Comes up, turns around here, and back into there. Okay.
Especially this truck. This is 2001.
Just leaving all these hoses running.
So if you
And it's
set that up there, I can just hold her on there.
Okay, so
just wanted to make sure that we had the right one with all these bends. 18 millimeter wrench is what we found both ends will be. And he's laying on the floor. We got and I'm trying to grab from the top because there are so many, there's hardly any room. Like the wrench isn't that long, but I think stubbies would really be a good thing to have. Try and maybe put a set in the description. At least if you could loosen it and use a stubby. But we were doing this in a buddy's shop, and he didn't have a set of stubbies that we could find, and I hadn't brought my stubbies wrenches. So, but between him holding it there, and it was hard to see because you're working over your head. We'd get it on the bolt there, and then or on the nut, and then I'd hold the wrench from the top, and it was coming off pretty good. So it was not too hard to get this side loose. Got an oil pan on the ground there because it's going to leak a little bit. Didn't leak a whole lot out of this end, but when you try and take the other end off, that's going to be the bottom of the reservoir for your power steering pump. And there's whatever, like a half a liter or something in there, or half a quart, I guess. Depends on where you live. When this truck was built, yeah, they were liters. I was going to say when the truck was built, we were doing quarts. Now that the truck is older, we're into liters. But I guess 2001 Canada didn't switch over to metric till about 1977, somewhere there. So we're able to get it out, trying not to get any kind of dirt in there.
So just gonna there. So I guess if you
So now it's time to try and
up, can you get it
grab the top, like pull it out.
Maybe. It's running anyway.
because
Yeah,
you're
here.
under this guy, right?
There you go. I figured, well, I'll just hold it up. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that you'll see on the old one here, there's an O-ring. This one's black. The new ones that came in this kit were green. It doesn't matter the color. You just want to make sure that it came with them. It'll just help with it not leaking. I'll show you the back of the pump here, if I can get in here. Not much room. Now you'll see the nut here. It's another 18 millimeter, but there's another one on the back of it. See if I can get you lined up in here. So we've got the 18 millimeter there, and this big one here is, I think it's 1 inch is what we used, or I don't know, 26 millimeters, I guess. You'll need to hold that big nut because it's going to want to come out when you try and turn the little nut. That's what we found.
If you do it, I might be able to hold it there for you.
So again, 2 hands. I don't know, I guess maybe I could have done it from the top, but you need leverage too. Not something easy to get.
Can you flip around the other way, or?
It's running into this thing.
Yeah. And between all the stuff, It's hard to see from the ground. It's hard to see from the top.
This way.
And a lot of spinning the wrenches around. Are they called spanners in Britain? Probably, huh? This is a 1-inch, as I mentioned. And then as we held it, now it's like trying to get this other wrench on. And the end of the wrench you can't see. Of course, not too much room there. It's banging against this, it's banging against that. You got other hoses, you got wires, you got mounts. There we go. So the easiest thing would be for me to hold this wrench that keeps falling off.
Whoa. Over here.
It would be easier on a hoist too, but when you're laying on the ground, you can't even get your arms half in there, if you can understand. Maybe the better explanation is you can't put your arms straight. You're going on angles because the vehicle isn't high enough. Of course, you're laying on a cold ground as well. So anyway, a little bit of work, and there we go. It came off. And of course, the big nut had come undone again, so we just wanted to make sure it was tight, and then try and get that small one undone. So kept at it until we get it loose enough that finger tight would be nice. So I try and reach from the top, and it's like, boy, it's tight.
No?
But his angle seemed to work better. So we found if you could twist the nut while you're moving the hose, kind of jiggle the hose, it gave a little less tension, I guess, on the bolt or on the nut, and that made it come out a lot quicker. So that was a good little tip too. Just kind of jiggle the hose around a little bit, and it'll come out.
I'm using my fingertips, and I'm going to be suffering in the morning. But
So just about how it looks like. Now, because this is such a strange-looking hose, both ends almost look the same, but they're not, and it'll only go one way. We got a little trick as to how we got it to be put in the proper way. So we kind of tried.
That's all got to go underneath somehow there. Oh, we'll just stop there. We'll have to go into this piece, right?
We stuck, had the old one there still, put the new one kind of beside it, strung it through there, so then they're kind of side by side. And it's like, okay, we got it sitting the right way. Let's just yank the old one out and let's start hooking her back up. It's already taken long enough time. So that's what we did.
Get them out.
Grab the old one, bye-bye old hose.
it's just that I don't see this.
It would be so easy to forget about these O-rings, but see, I got the green O-ring on there. Oh.
You can hold it there. I'll see if I can turn it. And
This was the same kind of idea as when we were taking the old ones out. If you grab the metal line itself and can kind of jiggle it around while you're trying to put it in there, you'll get the right kind of angle. Just because it's such a long hose, it's pretty hard to get this into the center, sit properly. But eventually, a couple guys figured it out.
no, it's
Very loose. So,
yeah.
So then, while he was screwing that in there, I just figured, well, I'll try and get this back. It's one that goes in the back of the pump on. Make sure, again, I put that O-ring on there. My hands are already kind of oily from some stuff there. Otherwise, the guy could always put a little bit of power steering fluid on them. And then jiggle, 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 jiggle this way, jiggle that way. And we're able to get it to start threading in. The metal line part actually is sitting right against the power steering pump. I don't know, I tempted to bend it out a little bit, but maybe once it's tight. So of course we have to hold the big nut and tighten that. Once it was tight, it was going to stay in there, and then we just tighten this little guy in. And you could only turn it a little bit, and then you have to flip your wrench, and hopefully you've turned it far enough. Turn it again. It would have helped if we had the stubbies. You know, snug it up and then use the big wrench. So that's why I'm suggesting the guy uses the stubbies. Same with this one.
and I think
We got her in there, tightened her up nice. And he's kind of doing this by feel. I can't really see what we're seeing. And it's kind of hard to do from the top too, because it's a long way down. You would almost have to lay on the fender,
Underneath.
unless you're really tall like I am. Give her a good crank and had her nice and tight.
No, that's good. It looks good.
There, now let's put some power steering fluid in it. I checked with our local parts store and it's like, yeah, this just holds just normal power steering fluid. So I thought maybe it would use the Chrysler automatic transmission fluid or something. It's like, nope. So we just got some power steering fluid we had kicking around. Filled it up. Of course, the hose is empty. We haven't started it up yet either, so
The hose got nothing in it, so it should go down.
it'll
Yep.
go down a little bit here as the hose fills. There it is. It started pumping through. So we started turning the wheel left and right a little bit. Try and get some of the air out. Add a little bit more. Check it again. Don't want to overfill it. Should be good. Yep. We did it a couple times. Check it. Start it up. Turn the steering wheel left and right. Get the fluid to go everywhere. Get the air bubbles out of it. One last check. Make sure it's not overfilled. And it looks like it's good. Actually, it could have wiped it off, then checked it. Checked for leaks, and it looks like it's good. Well, that's how it's done. I know the video was a teeny bit longer than it needed to be, but sometimes you'll get people ask, it's like, well, I didn't see this angle. You forgot to show me that angle, so hopefully we showed you every angle we could. Anyway, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for subscribers. In fact, if you're not a subscriber, you can just, down in the corner there, click on Be One, and we'll start a playlist on this truck. Talking about playlists, let's get the playlist going right here. Above the blue circle, you'll see the flashing yellow arrow, and it'll take you to the playlist. What else can we tell you? I guess that's it. Till next time, it's Uncle Mark saying you and your family stay safe. Hopefully the video was helpful. Bye-bye for now from Uncle Mark. Please subscribe, and you'll get all the notifications. It's easy. The little dog will show you how. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Testing 1, 2, 3. It's minus 20 in the garage here. Fahrenheit.
Across the red cable, I think.
Yep.
I was just thinking I'll try and put a little more pressure on that adapter.
Yes.
I hope it's not going to cause any problem, but